The Detroit Pistons are coming back to Detroit with the series tied 1-1 with the New York Knicks. They have done plenty of things well, but if they want to take this one win and turn it into a series win, there are a few things they have to do better. We'll talk about those things in today's episode, Locked On Pistons Podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Kooka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kooka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. There's another great way to support the podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And make sure you're heading over to LockedOnDaily.com, typing in your email, and you'll get a Locked On Pistons daily newsletter along with your Locked On Pistons daily podcast every single day. And also check out the description down below if you want to join the Pistons watch party with me and the rest of the Pistons fan base over at PLAYBACK. You can also subscribe to the SUBSTACK where I have film breakdowns and written content coming to you guys weekly. Later on in the podcast, are the refs an issue? There's been a lot of complaining going on about the refs, specifically from the New York Knicks side. Are the refs an issue in this series? Is this a fair criticism to have? We'll talk about that a little later. And also, Cade Cunningham voted the most underrated player in the Athletic randomized player poll. Is that an accurate statement? We'll talk about that later as well. But, all right, so the Pistons are obviously heading back to Detroit, tied 1-1 in this series. And like we said in the cold open, they have done a lot of things well. Dennis Schroeder, according to Mark Spears, feels like the Pistons should be up 2-0. And he's not the only one. I think they should probably be up 2-0. I think most of the players in that locker room feel like they should be up 2-0. I think a lot of people in the fan base feel like they should be up 2-0. If it wasn't for that 21-0 run in that fourth quarter, the Pistons have outplayed the New York Knicks. To be honest, I feel like 7 out of the 8 quarters of this series. I think outside of that stretch and a brief stretch in this last fourth quarter, the Pistons have just thoroughly outplayed the New York Knicks. Despite that, the series is 1-1. And if they want to just take this, ending the playoff win drought, if they want to do more than that, if they want to take that and then turn it into the first playoff series win since 2008, there are a few things they have to clean up. There's a few things that they have to do better. And the first thing I'm going to say that they have to do better is not so much a statistic. I have some statistics I'm going to throw out here. But one of the things I want to throw out there isn't so much a statistic. It's weathering the New York Knicks runs. And along with that, we're going to combine two things into one, actually. Weathering the New York Knicks runs, and then also taking advantage when you have the possibility to extend your own run. There was multiple times in this game too. If you were watching the live playback and watching the game with me in the watch room, you guys would have heard me saying this multiple times throughout the game. But if you weren't, one, you should join it. It's a lot of fun. But second, I said multiple times throughout that game, first, second, third quarter, I was like, the Pistons are thoroughly outplaying the Knicks, but yet they're only up by 6. Yet they're only up by 7. Yet they're only up by 8. And too many times in the years of me watching the NBA playoffs, there has been too many times where you feel like one team is thoroughly outplaying the other, but because they're not able to capitalize and extend their own runs, that team is able to hang around and then eventually comes back and wins at the end because the team that had been playing so well throughout the game just were not able to either close out quarters or to extend their own runs and really put their foot on their necks. And they let the team hang around. And then, sure enough, the team doesn't just hang around now. Now they end up just winning. And that happened, I thought, in the first game against the Knicks. I thought the Pistons had a chance multiple times, really, to extend the lead to 10+. But especially game 2. Game 2, the Pistons had, I feel like 20+ chances to extend a run to a 15-something run, to extend their lead from 13 to 18, to extend their lead from 13 to 20, to extend their lead from 8 to 14. There was multiple chances the Pistons had to not only extend their own run, but to force the Knicks into calling timeouts and to stop the Pistons' momentum. There was one play where I forget exactly who it was that shot the three, but someone shot, the Pistons got a steal, they run out in transition, and they kick it to a corner three with a chance to go up, I believe, 11 in this game. 11 late in the game, second half. They if they hit that three, they go up 11, they're on like a 9-0 run or something, and the Knicks are calling a timeout for sure. Instead, they missed that three. The Knicks immediately get it back up. They get a layup. Crowd's going crazy. Now the Pistons have to call a timeout. That's a 5-point swing. And instead of one team calling a timeout, and instead of one team having the momentum, now the other team has to call a timeout and slow down the momentum and slow down the crowd and try to calm things down. Those kind of things happen so many times in this second game against the Knicks. And yes, the Pistons ended up winning this game. But as we saw, things got way too close. The Pistons played way too well for that game to be as close as it was at the end of that game. They had a 13-point lead in the fourth. There was no way that the Knicks should have even gotten that close in that game. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with them just not being able to cement runs. When you have the chance to deliver knockout blows, when you have the chance to deliver momentum-changing blows, you have to hit on those. Those are huge in the playoffs. Those are huge, especially on your home court. You have to be able to do it. And I hope they're able to at home in Detroit. Now, let's get into the statistics. First thing the Pistons have to improve on. Turnovers. Small sample size, has only been 2 playoff games. But the only team in the playoffs that are turning the ball over more than the Detroit Pistons are the Memphis Grizzlies, who have gotten absolutely obliterated in both their games and don't look like they even want to be in the playoffs. They're turning the ball over 19.5 times a game. The Pistons are turning the ball over 18.5 times per game. You are not going to be able to sustain runs and sustain your level of play if you are turning the ball over that much. A lot of the time, that, like we were just talking about with like sustaining runs and really cementing the runs, a lot of the time, the reason why they weren't able to is because they would turn the ball over. There were multiple times in this game where the Pistons were up 10 plus. They'd get a block. They'd get a steal. All of a sudden, they're going to be out in transition. And then Paul Reed throws it ahead of Cade and Dennis Schroeder, turnover, and then the Knicks score. Momentum shut down. Another one. Pistons get a steal. Paul Reed leading the fast break. He turns it over. Now the Knicks score. Pistons call timeout. Now, I'm not picking on Paul Reed, okay? I'm not trying to pick on Paul Reed here, but those were the 2 examples that immediately came to my head. I spoke about the missed 3 earlier. There were multiple turns. Asar had one in transition. Cade had 2 in the first quarter that really could have turned things around. The Pistons cannot continue to turn the ball over like they are if they want to beat the Knicks in this series. If they want to just not only win one game, if they want to just do more than just be called, oh, you guys were competitive. If they want to actually win this series, they cannot continue to turn the ball over this much. They cannot. Because they are playing, we'll talk about this later with the refs, but they are playing incredible defense in this series. They are playing incredible defense. And if it's not for the turnovers, if it's not for the points being given up by the turnovers, their defense would be even more lights out. The Knicks are struggling to score against the Pistons. This is just straight up. That's what's happening. They're really struggling to score against the Pistons. I don't care who has the more talented team. I don't care who has the more well-known names. I don't care. One team is making it incredibly hard on the other to score. That second game, the Pistons played some of the best defense I've seen. If they can just cut down the turnovers and maintain that level of defense, they can win this series. They can and should win this series if they can do that. If they can do that. And then lastly, and this will come into the ref issue soon, Asar, you must stay out of foul trouble. Now listen, for most of us who have watched these games, I'd say a good 60% of the fouls Asar has gotten, a lot of us would probably say BS. Like, I think a lot of people, I saw the entire NBA community saying, what every time, like Ant Wright had this viral tweet when he was like, it was the dancing Squidward meme. It was like anytime Asar comes near Brunson and Squidward dancing and flopping all over the place. Like, the whole NBA community acknowledges that the flopping from Brunson game 2 was historic. Okay, I get it. But even in a series where Ausar is not scoring that much, Ausar is incredibly valuable to what the Pistons are doing, and they're dominating with him on the floor. When he is on the floor, they are dominating the Knicks. So, again, it's only a 2-game sample, but Ausar has the second largest on-off of any Piston that's playing rotation minutes. The first is Isaiah Stewart, and he only played 1 game. So if you want, say, players that played in both games, he has the highest by far, plus 20.2 on-off. The Pistons are outscoring the Knicks by 12.9 points per 100 possessions when Ausar is on the floor. They're dominating the Knicks when he's on the floor. The Pistons' defensive rating when Ausar is on the floor in this series is 97.8. They are allowing less than 98 points per 100 possessions when Ausar Thompson's on the floor. When he's off, they're allowing 114.4 points. That's almost an 18-point differential. When he's on the floor, they are obliterating the Knicks. They are dominating the Knicks defensively. They have to be, Ausar, you have to stay out of foul trouble. I don't know how you can do it. Some of the calls are BS, I get it. But I said this in the last podcast, before game 2. I think JB should maybe tell Ausar, look, we get you on, keep pressure 9-4 feet. It's not worth it. Back it up. We'll pick up the pressure in the half court, but picking up those fouls 94 feet away from the basket, can't have it. Just can't have it. Ausar has to stay out of foul trouble. If he stays out of foul trouble and he can stay on the floor and guard Jalen Brunson, who is having a living hell of a series trying to deal with him, so much so that he's celebrating when he gets kicked out the game with 6 fouls, the Pistons have a chance to win the game. Not just win the game, win the series. Those are the things I think they have to improve upon, along with a very clear one. They have to hit shots. They haven't hit shots very well from beyond the arc so far in this series. Malik Beasley and THA did not shoot very well in this past game, but you expect them to shoot better. But that's an obvious one. Let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter @KuKahil. What do you guys think the Pistons can improve upon if they want to win this series? Let me know again, comment section down below or over on Twitter @KuKahil. When we come back, are the refs an issue, man? Does Tom Thibodeau have a point that the refs are not being fair and they're favoring one side? We'll talk about that coming up. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be a part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when the demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as the tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Last-minute deals allow you to save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever events near you. The all-in pricing means no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDINNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Game Time. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel @Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. If you haven't already, head over to LockedOnDaily.com. Type in your email, you'll get a Locked On Pistons daily podcast or daily newsletter, with your Locked On Pistons daily podcast. And also make sure you guys are checking out the description down below. I've had a lot of you guys ask me, Koo, how can we join these watch parties with you for the Pistons playoffs? Click the link down in the description, join the playback room, and you'll be alerted anytime we go live for the Piston games. Also, if you want to subscribe to my Substack where I just broke down another film, or just put out another film breakdown, talking about an offensive adjustment that the Pistons did in Game 2 that was really successful, you can find that over there. Also, you can find a bunch of written content that I've had over there as well, coming to you guys weekly, damn near daily. So make sure you guys are checking that out as well. All right, Tom Thibodeau, after this last game, after Game 2, had some very interesting comments. Some funny comments, honestly. I'd call them hilarious. But nonetheless, he complained about the officiating. And he said that if Cade Cunningham's going to get calls on going to the rim, then Jalen Brunson should get calls going to the rim. It's that simple, is what he said. I almost didn't even want to talk about this on the podcast because I found it so hilarious. But it has, sadly, become a talking point of this series now. And I am concerned that it may, because they have turned it into a talking point for the series, I am concerned that this may end up screwing the Pistons over now. They may come out in Game 3 just trying to give the Knicks a better whistle now because of the complaints. We'll see. But I find this absolutely hilarious from Tom Thibodeau. I find it hilarious from Tom Thibodeau. I find it hilarious from Knicks fans who are just talking so braggadociously in the comment section, in the Pistons community, on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere. Ones that were talking so crazy and now they're crying refs. Let me give you the numbers here. Because this is truly asinine to me. Like, straight up just, like, we can't be watching the same games. Me, you guys, Knicks fans, Tom Thibodeau, we all must be watching different games. We have to be. Because the idea that Jalen Brunson is not drawing fouls is laughable. Not only is it laughable, it's straight up just incorrect. It's just straight up incorrect. Through 2 playoff games, 2, not 3, not 4, not an entire playoff series, through 2 playoff series, Jalen Brunson has drawn 23 fouls. Through 2 playoff games, Jalen Brunson has drawn 23 fouls. To then come out after the second game and say he's not drawing enough fouls is honestly mind-blowing. It's, you know how, like, I don't even know what word to call it. Like, a lack of self-awareness, I want to call it dumb, just straight up stupid. Like, this has to be the most insane conversation I have seen through 2 games of a playoff series in my entire life. Jalen Brunson has 23 foul calls through 2 damn playoff games, and you have Knicks fans and their coach crying that he's not getting enough foul calls. He has fouled out Asar in 1 game. He's got him with 5 in another. How many calls do you want? You want 40? You want 50? Like, do you want to call every possession? You want to call every time he rips his head back? Like, is that what you, like, we can't be watching the same games. Then to make it worse, his comment about if Cade is going to draw fouls, then so should Jalen Brunson. Holy, dear God. Cade has 14 fouls drawn through 2 games. He has 9 less foul calls drawn than Jalen Brunson through 2 games. Can you guys please stop it? Just, can you stop? What is, like, what am I hearing? Seriously, what am I hearing right now? I don't know how much more of a favorable whistle Jalen Brunson could get. Like, the only reason why you know what? Hold on. Let me get a drink of water. The only reason why this is even a talking point is because Jalen Brunson flops on every damn possession. So therefore, Knicks fans and Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson think he should get fouled on every single possession. If they had it there, if Jalen Brunson had it his way, the entire Pistons roster would be fouled out 12 minutes into the game, and they would have to forfeit before halftime. If that's what if the refs called a foul every time he whipped his damn head back and threw his braids all over the place, the entire Pistons roster would be fouled out, and half of the attendance at Little Caesars Arena would also be thrown out. Just because you flop your head back doesn't mean it's a damn foul. It doesn't mean it's a foul. And the idea that you guys are not getting enough foul calls is insane. Then to make it even worse, let's go ahead and make it even worse, even more of a blasphemous statement to have. In this game too, that they are complaining about foul calls, the Pistons had more fouls called on them than the Knicks did. The Pistons were called for 24 fouls. The Knicks were called for 22. The Pistons were called for more fouls. It's not the Pistons' fault that you are drawing fouls 95 feet away from the basket from whipping your head. I don't know what to tell you. Whip your head at the rim then. Touch the paint. You guys weren't touching the paint in this game because the Pistons weren't allowing dribble penetration. I don't know what to tell you. The fact that you drew 24 fouls on the Pistons without touching the paint, from getting most of those fouls at half court, away from the basket, from whipping your head around, should tell you that you're getting a pretty damn favorable whistle. I'm screaming, I'm losing my mind, but this, I could not believe that this is, I can't believe that this is a talking point. A talking point. And then let's talk about the free throws. Oh, God, Cade got 12. Holy, you know what? Let me get up. Holy, God forbid. Cade got 12 free throws, everybody. Holy, God forbid. Cade got 12. Get the National Guard. God forbid someone get 12. But Brunson, in the same game, Cade had 12 free throws, had 11. He had one less free throw. He had one less free throw than Cade did. What are we talking about? Seriously, what are we talking about right now? This is the most laughable conversation I have witnessed so far this NBA season. You want to know which team? I want you guys to go ahead and take a guess. Let's play trivia real quick, guys. Which team do you think is averaging the most foul calls per game in the playoffs? I'll give you guys 5 seconds. The team that's averaging the most fouls in the playoffs per game are your Detroit Pistons. But let Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks fan base tell you the Pistons are not being called for enough fouls. You cannot make this up. This is truly a pure, insane conversation that I am watching happen over the last 24 hours. You cannot make this up. You can't make it up. You want to know why the Pistons had more free throws than the Knicks did in this game? Because the Pistons are drawing fouls at the rim. The Pistons are drawing fouls in the paint. They're not flopping 70 feet away from the basket. They're not arm locking dudes 90 feet from the basket and then crying for a foul. They're not drawing fouls. You want to know what the Knicks are doing? They're drawing more fouls than the Pistons and putting the Pistons' best players in foul trouble. The Pistons are drawing fouls on shooting fouls because they're not flopping 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 feet away from the basket. I don't know what to tell you. Get to the paint and flop there, I guess. That's all I can tell you. This is an asinine conversation. Absolute asinine. Let me know in the comment section down below. You guys think actually, you know what? I didn't even give my answer to the question. I do not think the refs have been, despite the Pistons being called for the most fouls per game in the playoffs, I actually think the refs have allowed the Pistons to play with a level of physicality that I will accept. There's been so much flopping, so many attempts at flopping from Jalen Brunson that the refs have let go that I will actually take only 22.5 foul calls a game because I thought there could have been at least 30 because Brunson's flopping so much and the refs would fall for it. So the fact that it's only 22.5, I will take it. I actually think the refs are allowing enough physicality for the Pistons to win the game. And I also think the Knicks are getting a favorable enough whistle, evidenced by the fact the Pistons have the most fouls in the playoffs. Let me know in the comment section down below, man. Do you guys think the refs are an issue or not? Comment section down below or over on Twitter @Kukil. When we come back, is Cade the most underrated player in the NBA? We'll discuss coming up. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports, College Football 25, to Call of Duty Black Ops 6, as you easily can stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? Well, a Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with you, allowing you to take you or your kids' games wherever you plug in. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. One more time, that's Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started today. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Head over to LockedOnDaily.com. Type in your email. You'll get a Locked On Pistons Daily newsletter along with your Locked On Pistons Daily podcast. Also, if you click the links in the description, you can join the watch parties for Pistons games with me and the rest of the Pistons fan base, or you can subscribe to the Substack where I have film breakdowns coming out after every single playoff game and written analysis reviews for you as well weekly, almost daily, come to you guys content in all kinds of different ways. And also, I have to thank you guys again, obviously, for being everyday listeners, making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. All right. Is Cade Cunningham underrated? Well, this player poll from The Athletic certainly says so. They had, I believe, 90 was the amount. 90 players vote in this poll that they do every year. And, you know, what was crazy is that they had the underrated, most overrated and underrated, and most overrated was Tyrese Halliburton, which really you should not have. No one should have told Rick Carlisle that because he almost popped a blood vessel after the game talking about that. I'm not going to comment on Tyrese getting that, but Cade got voted as, and it was 90 votes. He was the most underrated player according to these votes, receiving 8.8% of the votes. So, is Cade Cunningham underrated? I would say not anymore. I don't think Cade's underrated anymore. I think he was for quite a long time. I think he was underrated last year because of how bad the team was. And obviously because his coach just didn't care. His coach didn't care about the team. He didn't care about the players. He didn't care about winning. All he cared about was that money going into the bank account. He had a bad GM. He had a bad team around him. And therefore, what he did last year, the improvements he made last year, were not acknowledged or recognized because they assumed he was the reason for the lack of team success. And now this year, obviously the Pistons find themselves not only tripling their win total, not only skipping the play-in, but making the 6th seed. Not only making the 6th seed, but breaking a playoff win drought that goes back to when some of you guys who are listening may not have even been born. I was 10 years old the last time the Pistons won a playoff game before this. I was 10. I was 10 years old. Yes, I'm 27 now. I'm getting old. Don't remind me. But I was 10 years old last time the Pistons won a playoff game. And Cade Cunningham led them to all these things this year. And it looks like he is going to make All-NBA. It's according to early voting that I've seen, it looks pretty clear that he will be an All-NBA member. Pretty clearly. It's just a matter of will he be All-NBA first, second, or third. If you watch these national shows, they don't talk about the Pistons much. They don't talk about Cade much. But when they do, what's the commercial? That I don't always drink like this. When I do, what's the commercial? Oh my! How am I forgetting you guys are gonna have to tell me which one. I can't believe I'm blanking on that. But it's like that commercial. But when they do talk about it, Cade's the first name brought up, and they talk about how great he's been this year, how good he's been this year, how big of a leader he's been, how big of a jump he's taken, and how he's a superstar on the rise. I watch First Things First all the time, and he's consistently been at the top of Nick Wright's King of the Hill of the NBA. He's not at the very top, but towards the top. He's been like the top 4 rows, top 10 guy, consistently for most of the year. I've seen Bill Simmons talk about him quite a bit and give him his credit. TNT the other night, now they said a bunch of things that let you know that they don't watch the Pistons for sure, like a lot of things that were really off the mark and just straight up dumb and wrong. But Charles said he's the best player in this series. You have talk shows asking the question, is Cade the best player in the series? I don't think we can sit here and say he's underrated anymore. Now, maybe this voting came out, maybe the players are talking about previous year because before this year he was so underrated, which I would understand. But moving forward, I don't think Cade's underrated anymore. I think Cade is getting his just due. I think he's becoming properly rated. I think most people in the community now recognize how good he is. Heck, to be honest, I think some people may even overrate him just a tad. Some people think that he's already MVP caliber player. I don't think he's there yet. I think he can get there, but I don't think he's there yet. There's some people I've seen that think he already is in that caliber. So no, was Cade overrated or underrated? 100%. He was vastly underrated. He was incredibly underrated, and not only underrated, but incredibly disrespected for a long time. Really disrespected. But he's no longer being disrespected. He's no longer being underrated. He's getting his respect. He's getting his just due. And let him continue to beat these Knicks. Let him continue to play well in these playoffs, and that respect will continue to go through the roofs. So, yes, while I'll accept this voting and accept this player voting because of how badly he was treated over the last 3 years, right now, as of April 22nd, when I'm recording this, no, Cade Cunningham's no longer underrated. He's properly rated, I would say, and he's only going to get better and better and better. And, eventually maybe one day he'll go back to being underrated because usually how it goes is young guys that get propped up, they love him, and then they start hating on him in 2 years. So Cade may start getting hated on in like 2 to 3 years and be underrated then maybe. But right now, don't think he's underrated anymore. I think he's getting his respect. So let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter @KukaHill. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys think Cade is underrated still? Or do you guys think he's getting his just due now? Again, comment section down below or over on Twitter @KukaHill. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. LockedOnDaily.com. Type in your email. You'll get that Locked On Pistons daily newsletter along with your Locked On Pistons daily podcast. Click the description down below. Click the playback room if you want to watch the Pistons game. Join the watch party live with me and the rest of the Pistons fan base. Also, subscribe to the Substack if you want these film breakdowns and written analysis weekly, daily coming to you guys over at my Substack. I got content for you guys coming all over the place. I appreciate you guys. Pistons game coming up Thursday. I will be there. I'll see you guys there. Until next episode, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there. Till next time, peace out.